We took care of the engine first.
In the
that
garage, making sure it's running.
That pretty much kept the company afloat, so we could take our time and find the J. Cole's and the Rita Ora's and make sure they had the proper A&R.
In terms of, you bought your masters back from Jay-Z, you sold your masters back to Cole. Well, when did that happen? And how does that affect y'all? Of course, I still think y'all are fly, but buying the masters back explains why I don't see as much Cole Hove as I feel like I should.
Yeah, I have a lot of respect. I have a lot of respect for, the other two guys that I'm constantly, up against, which is like Cole and Kendrick.
Three-headed monster.
Yeah. So I have a lot of respect for those guys because they also continue to, stay true to what we started with.
So you know how Drake recently decided to take some digs at J. Cole, questioning his place in the industry by sharing an old tweet about Jay-Z supposedly having no respect for J. Cole? Well, it got fans wondering why Drake decided to bring up this old drama and where J. Cole and Jay-Z stand now. Now, Cole and Jay-Z were never exactly BFFs to begin with, but let's not forget that Cole was the first artist Jay signed to Roc Nation. Cole spent over a decade repping Jay's label, so you'd think they'd be more friendly, right? But it seems like their relationship was always a bit off. Technically, there was never any major beef between Jay-Z and J. Cole, but there's this long-running theory that Jay got in his feelings about Cole's tight relationship with Nas. Now, we all know about the legendary feud between Jay-Z and Nas, so when Nas gave Cole a stamp of approval, it probably didn't sit well with Jay-Z. Rumor has it that Jay made Cole pay top dollar for his masters when he wanted to leave Roc Nation, almost as a way to punish him for getting too cozy with Nas. And just when you think it couldn't get any messier, enter Drake, who's had his own rocky history with Jay-Z and J. Cole. So with Drake fanning the flames, it really makes you wonder what really went down between Jay and Cole. Did their relationship unravel because of Nas? Did Drake's antics also play a part in the fallout? Or is there some deeper drama that's been kept under wraps all this time? Let's dive in and find out.
But I think in the case of J. Cole, I think that A&R development really helped him and worked for him. The album that he put out was an album that he brought in the first time, and he thought he was ready, And now, and you look at his career now, he's in the place of, he's going to be here for as long as he wants to do it.
Yeah.
So, in case you were wondering, Drake is still holding on to that grudge against J. Cole for not having his back during the beef with Kendrick Lamar. And he recently got super petty about it on his secret Finsta account at Plot Twist, mocking Cole over some old Jay-Z drama that went down years ago. Earlier this month, we got our hands on Drake's undercover Instagram thanks to a 100 gigabyte content dump he unleashed on the internet. This treasure trove includes unreleased music, behind-the-scenes clips, and of course, tons of shady posts, including a screenshot of a viral tweet from 2019 that dragged J. Cole for his rocky relationship with his former Roc Nation boss, Jay-Z. This post was just one of dozens dating back to June 2024, but it's clear Drake is still feeling some type of way about Cole's past loyalty or lack thereof. It's messy, it's petty, and it's classic Drake. The post reads, "Remember when J. Cole got his phone stolen out of his pocket by a fan and they called Jay-Z from it, but he wasn't answering, so they called from their own phone and he picked up?" So we all know that things have been tense between Drake ever since Cole backed out of that beef with Kendrick. Things were further complicated by the fact that Cole was featured on Future and Metro Boomin's album, We Still Don't Trust You, which was packed with tracks throwing all kinds of shade at Drake. Now, some fans came for Cole, saying he is the one who kicked off all this drama between Kendrick and Drake with that Big 3 line he dropped on his track with Drake, First Person Shooter. Basically, folks were saying Cole stirred the pot just enough to get Drake all riled up. But when Kendrick clapped back, instead of backing Drake up, Cole went and apologized, leaving Drake out there to face Kendrick on his own. But hold up, because those who have been following the Kendrick versus Drake saga know this beef just didn't start with Cole's verse. You can't really blame Cole for making Kendrick go nuclear on Drake because that was bound to happen sooner or later. See, the real tea is this has been bubbling under the surface for almost a decade. I'm talking way back to Kendrick's legendary verse on Big Sean's 2013 track, Control. That's where it all started, with Kendrick name-dropping everyone, including Drake. And Drake being Drake, he got in his feelings about Kendrick's verse, even though Kendrick technically didn't diss him. And honestly, if we're spilling all the tea, Drake's been sneak dissing Kendrick for years now. So if anyone's to blame for this feud reaching a boiling point, it's Drake himself. He's been poking the bear, and now that Kendrick has finally clapped back, Drake's out here looking for backup that just isn't there. Now, besides that shady Finsta post, Drake also called out Cole on his diss songs Push Ups and Family Matters, rapping, "I don't care what Cole think. That was weak AF, and Cole losing sleep on this, it ain't me." As for Kendrick, he didn't address Cole's apology, but on Not Like Us, he accused Drake of doing Cole dirty. But can we talk about how Drake just randomly decided to drag up Cole's old drama with Jay-Z? Why is Drake bringing up ancient history out of nowhere? And what even went down between Cole and Jay-Z back in the day to make this such a sore spot? The timing is so suspicious. Makes you wonder what Drake's real agenda is here. So J. Cole and Jay-Z had an interesting relationship from the outside looking in. Drake signed with Jay's label in February 2009, becoming Roc Nation's first artist. But Cole and Jay were never really close like that. It seems like they had a strictly business relationship, not a personal one. And they only made 2 songs together in over a decade that Cole spent with Roc Nation. Now, it is a little strange how Jay-Z has never truly given J. Cole his flowers. I mean, he did it a few times, but it was very lukewarm. And this is the first artist he signed to Roc Nation who is also considered top 3 by many. And yet Jay-Z barely talks about Cole, never shouted him out, and pretty much had to be reminded of Cole's existence in interviews. At one point, it got so obvious that Jay was avoiding Cole that it became a running meme online about how Cole couldn't even get a pic with Jay. Also, remember Jay's collab with Drake, Pound Cake, Paris Morton Music 2, where he named all the artists and executives he made rich? The part where he says, "I've done made more millionaires than the Lotto did. Dame made millions, Biggs made millions, Ye made millions, Just made millions, Liar made millions, Cam made millions, Beans tell you if he wasn't in his feelings." Hello? Cole also made millions during his time with Roc Nation. So why did Jay-Z go out of his way to leave him out? He even name-dropped Dame Dash, and Dame's been publicly calling out Jay for years, but nothing about Cole? You have to admit something doesn't add up here. Well, here's where it gets messy. Thanks to none other than Jay-Z's longtime nemesis, Nas. Remember Cole's track Let Nas Down from his 2013 Born Sinner album? It's the one where Cole spills all the tea about how Jay-Z demanded a hit record after signing him. And it's also the track where Cole refers to Nas's iconic 1994 album Illmatic as Bible and talks about Nas being his biggest influence growing up. Cole raps, "Hove asking where's the record that the radio could play and I was striking out for months. 9th inning, feeling fear. Jeter Under Pressure made the biggest hit of my career, but at first that wasn't clear. Ninjas had no idea. Deion called me when it dropped, sounding sad but sincere. Told me Nas heard your single and he hate that ish. Said you the one, yo, why you make that ish? I can't believe I let Nas down. Damn, my heart sunk to my stomach. I got defensive on the phone. Resentment was in my tone. F it." So for context, Jay actually refused to drop Cole's Cold World debut album until he had a certified banger. So Cole, feeling the pressure, finally delivered with the massive hit Workout featuring a Kanye sample. But while Jay-Z might have been pleased enough to give Cole a release date for his debut album, Nas apparently felt let down, thinking Cole had dumbed down his talents just to appease the mainstream. But Nas later jumped on the remix of Let Nas Down, renaming it Made Nas Proud, and made it clear that he wasn't actually upset with Cole. Nas raps on the remix, "I am mad at you, young king. This unsung song is haunting. Along comes one son called an offspring. At least you got Jay, but he already one of the greats, and it's hard for the great to tell somebody how to be great." And this line was a pretty big deal, taking into consideration all the beef that Nas had with Jay. But here's where things get a bit sticky. Given the messy history between Nas and Jay-Z, this whole exchange between Cole and Nas probably didn't sit well with Jay, even though Nas technically acknowledged Jay as one of the greats. Some fans took Nas's line about Jay as him low-key calling out Jay's business moves, suggesting that Cole should have had more creative freedom instead of caving to label pressures. And knowing that Jay is almost as petty as Drake, he probably caught on to this subtle shade. Besides that, when Cole bought back his master from Roc Nation, he rapped about it on Might Delete Later, where he says, "Y'all asked Jigga how much did the kid gross for that label. Paid dues, had to pay dude for my masters, but I'm grateful. Business is business." Now, on the one hand, Cole did say he was grateful to Jay-Z for letting him buy his masters back. But on the other hand, this could also be interpreted as Cole expressing his frustration over Jay-Z making him pay so much for his masters, despite how much he made for the label. Now, the exact amount Cole paid Jay-Z for his masters hasn't been disclosed, but word on the street is that Cole paid him dearly for them. Because as the first signee of Roc Nation, Cole really exceeded all expectations. So you'd think Jay would meet him halfway. Instead, Jay Jay charged him top dollar for his own discography instead of just working with him a little bit. But let's be honest, is anyone surprised? I mean, has Jay-Z ever not been about money first and foremost? But wait, there's more. So that same year Nas and Cole dropped the remix to Let Nas Down, Jay-Z decided to give out his features to Drake on Nothing Was the Same and Kendrick on the Don't Kill My Vibe remix. And by the way, it's been a running theory that Jay-Z always releases music around the same time as Nas out of pure pettiness. But the fact that Jay-Z decided to give features to Drake and Kendrick and not Cole was strange, to say the least. Now, as for Drake's messy self and his role in all this, there's this wild theory that Jay and Cole had conversations about throwing shade at Drake during Jay and Drake's back and forth. This theory gained traction after Kendrick went for Drake on The Heart Part 4 and name-dropped Jay-Z, reminding Drake that he's nowhere near Jay's level. As for Cole, he referenced people wanting to diss Drake on Middle Child, but chose to stay neutral, showing love to Drake instead. So after Cole apologized to Kendrick and backed out of the beef, Drake decided to bring up old drama between Cole and Jay-Z. But honestly, I don't know what Drake was trying to do with that shady Finsta post. Like, that's the best he could do to clap back at Cole? Dig up some old tweet from 2019 about Jay-Z supposedly not picking up Cole's phone calls? Is Drake trying to distract the world from everyone dancing to a song about him being a PDF file? That's my only thought, honestly. Now, as for Cole and Jay-Z, it's possible that all these theories about their relationship are being read way too much into this situation. And this might simply be a case of growing apart. I mean, Jay-Z and Cole were never that close to begin with. They're two very different personalities and they don't exactly mingle with the same crowd. But what do you think? Do these theories hold water, or are they all just a bunch of conspiracy talk? Could Nas or Drake have played a role in Jay and Cole growing apart? Let me know in the comments, and don't miss out on this next video.